more on this D.C. issue. Let's discuss this with former D.C. Chief of Homeland Security and Intelligence Donnell Harvin and former federal prosecutor Alyse Adamson. Thank you both so much for being here. Donnell, the White House, again, taking that victory lap, saying that they have 23 arrests made overnight. Can you just set the stage here? How many arrests are normally made by the D.C. police on any given evening or day?
I don't have the statistics for that in my fingertips, but that doesn't seem like a whole lot. And once again, it's probably D.C. Metropolitan Police making those arrests. Certainly the National Guard isn't postured to make arrests. They can't go to court. They can't testify. They can't do a lot of those things. And I'm not quite sure if our federal partners are out there doing that. So it doesn't seem like a whole lot. We'd have to get the statistics from the D.C. police to get some context to that.
Alyse, this has never happened before, and it's striking the way that local officials are responding to it. I wonder how you anticipate this is going to work between the federal oversight, the operational tree of local officials here, including the chief of police, the federal agents on the streets, and whether there's anything Mayor Bowser can do to pursue more control over what execution looks like.
Well, I think, as you just stated, this has never happened before. We're in an unprecedented situation, so it is difficult to kind of predict how this is going to go. I mean, what we've seen so far from the chief of police and Mayor Bowser is a tone of partnership with the federal government, and I think that's in recognition that at the end of the day, the federal government does have a lot of power over the district. The district is essentially a federal zone, and the president is operating under Section 740 of the DC Home Rule. So far, it seems as though the DC police has been cooperating with their federal partners. Things seem to be going smoothly, and the mayor has been signaling that she is going to be working collaboratively with the White House. I think beyond that, it's hard to predict. I mean, what I'd also like to say is that the Metropolitan Police Department is a great police department. I worked with them on an everyday basis when I was a prosecutor here. And while I think they appreciate the support, they do need more resources. I don't think flooding the streets with their federal partners is ultimately going to cure the ills of the DC crime that the president ultimately wishes to do.
Donnell, I wonder from your perspective what the impact on crime is ultimately going to be, especially as we hear the White House saying that after 30 days they're going to reevaluate what this looks like and potentially seek an extended period of control over local law enforcement.
Boris, I wish I could answer that question, but I don't know why we're here, I'll be honest with you. As the D.C. police and as Mayor Bowser pointed out recently, crime is at a 30-year all-time low. And so, you know, whether you're doing crime initiatives or balancing your budget in your home, you have to have some type of endpoint in terms of what success looks like. We haven't heard that from the White House. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little worried when I heard the Attorney General talk about starting today, there'll be no more crime in D.C. And so if you kind of deconstruct that statement, what does success look like? It's certainly not going to take 30 days to get to zero crime. You will never get to zero crime in any city, in any country. And so is this some type of prolonged siege of DC are we seeing? So I don't know what the metrics of success are. All police departments, all governments have metrics of success. They haven't fed that to the public. And so I really don't know the answer to that, unfortunately.
Yeah, to that point, I'm sure there's not a city on the planet that wouldn't want zero crime if they could have it, if it were that simple. Alyse, beyond policing, though, city council members, they've said that the many vacancies in the D.C. Court of Appeals and Superior Court have actually had a big impact on crime. I was curious, what was your experience with that when you yourself was a prosecutor?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. So clearly having vacancies have an impact on crime because the dockets are completely out of control. These poor Superior Court judges have hundreds of cases on their dockets, and it's hard to move them. That being said, though, I think there's another issue here, and this is just my anecdotal experience trying as a prosecutor cases in the Superior Court, which is lenient sentences for the most violent offenders. And I'm talking about shootings, stabbings, everything kind of below a homicide. I experienced a lot of instances where I was advocating for incarcerative sentences for very serious offenses, and the judges declined to do so or gave the defendants perhaps a year, suspended the rest, and put them on probation. I think furthermore, there is a law in DC known as the Youth Rehabilitation Act, which affords judges wide discretion in sentencing youthful offenders, 24 and under. And I think there is a need for this act. It recognizes that young people are impulsive, that they need a second chance in society. It allows them to expunge their convictions so they can be successful in the future. But it also allows judges to put folks on probation for the most serious offenses. We just had an instance where a judge sentenced an individual who had shot somebody in the chest on a metro bus to straight probation. I think sentences like that are outrageous. I think even if the particular individual sentence doesn't reoffend, it sends a message to the community at large that conduct such as that would be met with a slap on the wrist and might embolden these young people to commit crimes if they think there are no consequences. So I think that this is a very complicated, nuanced issue, vacancies being a problem, but I also think that DC needs to be honest with itself and strike a better balance between compassion and the commitment to protect innocent residents, and maybe amend the YRA to only impose incarcerative sentences on the most violent criminal acts.
Alyse Adamson, Donnell Harvin, great to get your perspective. Appreciate you both.